South African visionary connects Pan-African ecosystems using digital disruption to launch a global platform for African businesses through Entrepreneur Connect Africa100. A media communications expert and manager director of JT Communication Solutions, Vanessa Perumal, is taking her innovative practice in the field to new heights and to the next level. She joins us in studio for more. Very good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Shanti.
Essentially, you're said to be doing this in a way that is described as being disruptive. What is digital disruption?
The thing is, you can either stay the same or you can choose to change. And so in changing, we disrupting to transform. So what we found through digital disruption as entrepreneurs, we're in trouble anyway as job creators because we just cannot find jobs. So because I studied media, I'm a journalist by profession, and I, work in media. I work in the media landscape. It made sense to tap into technology because we needed to problem solve. Mm-hmm. In tapping into technology, we realized it's an underused resource. In tapping into the under-resourced technology and the use, we found an ecosystem around the world actually, but we decided to do it in a Pan-African way where we connected a tribe into an ecosystem which is now becoming a movement. Mm-hmm. So essentially, digital disruption for us, people talk about agile systems, they talk about what are we going to do now that we have artificial intelligence. We wanted to humanize what are we doing on our WhatsApp? How are we connecting on our Facebook? Who's talking to us on our Instagram? How are we scaling on Twitter? Mm-hmm. Because everybody in Africa particularly, the penetration of cell phones and hand and mobile devices is exponentially growing, mm-hmm. faster than any other continent in the world. So as entrepreneurs, we wanted to know how to monetize our markets, how to find the next market when the SABC, as an example, is in trouble, because they can't job create, because they have a deficit with so much to pay back. How do we get ourselves onto mainstream TV mm-hmm. when mainstream TV are under pressure themselves? So we looked at how are we talking to each other, and so that's the disruption. We're meeting each other using technology and our data, all wanting the same 3 things or 4 things. We're looking to scale our businesses, we're looking for markets, we're looking for sales, we're looking to convert our entrepreneurship into cash flow so that we can be relevant mm-hmm. and transform economies.
Now, you mentioned just briefly some of the mediums that you use. Of course, this is an ecosystem, a digital ecosystem yes. that speaks to global African markets and collaborating and bringing them together. But how essentially has this been facilitated in it actually rolling out, that individuals and businesses can actually connect on these platforms? Is there an app? Is there a website that one goes to? Are there TED Talks? Take us through this.
So what we definitely didn't want to be was we want to be beyond TED. We don't want to have an information highway in the 4th revolution dictated by the West or the Europeans for that matter. We wanted to own our own narrative. That's for me, that was my activism. How do I change the African narrative? So I've started, obviously I'm an activist, fees must fall is something I've worked in no to xenophobia, etc. Then I started understanding there are people like Antostella, who is launching Viva Nation TV through Content Connect. She's been doing what I've been doing, isolated. Then I've met up in doing this, I realized there's a Yasmita Bana who has turned over millions. She's working in artificial intelligence, and she's been able to draw a network. She's an entrepreneur. And so the story goes on. Deshaun Daisel, Irisha Luanga, Rihanna, we are all ordinary entrepreneurs. We are isolated. What we are is the missing middle of black entrepreneurs that have come together. That's number 1. 2, we're an ecosystem that's working in a transformative economy. 3, we want to be sure that we can scale business in a way that more jobs are created. There's more inclusiveness. Because ultimately, if you're not, how do we define entrepreneurship? Mm. So we were very conscious about the network. What's really exciting is although we were doing a South African, so I have worked at the African Union, I've done the strategy for both the World Cups in South Africa. I worked in numerous markets, music markets. Our clientele at JT Coms are some of the most influential movers and shakers in the world. You know, Beyonce is in town, Usher's in town, etc. But the network we're working with, as an example, Antos and her team are worried about or constantly tracking the monetization of the creators. How are we selling and how are we digitalizing and scaling? We launched a product called Bunnies in the Burbs, you know, from our family kitchen. And just doing these small things, we're able to keep people in work. But here's the disruption. While we launched in South Africa 48 hours ago, Irene Kiwia launched in Tanzania. She's identical to me in skill sets. She works in media. She's a global aggregator of content. So we're working with her. In Kenya, we've got Grace Mumo. I've also got my own staff member, who's my marketing manager, Isabel Dafumani, she's going to say it's tough Fumani, in Zimbabwe. I've given her the opportunity. We have a market in Congo to Tropics Magazine. So the disruption is, whether we had SABC tonight or not, the conversation is viral. And so we are collaborating. We've tried to reach we've tried to get funded. We self-funded.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurs are funding the network, so that's a disruption.
You know, and speaking of entrepreneurs, naturally one would face challenges. In the space of the digital realm and using technology in using social media, specifically when we talk about the African continent, where millions still in this day don't necessarily have access to internet or to smartphones, how do you take those day-to-day challenges in collaboration with the launch and going forward?
And so here's the disruption. Most people think that data is a barrier or that we don't have internet, which both is factually correct. But we have smartphones and data is consumed by the content we produce. So someone said to me, but I use Google and I use TED Talks. And I said, but we're changing the narrative inside Google. So to answer your question, I've been finding on this journey, you know, WhatsApp is an influencer. Did you know that? It's highly penetratable. It's very connectable. And we're excited that we have Pan-African influencers who have the same vision of looking at how we can create agile systems, how we can use technology, and how we can build. So you ask, where's the app? Where's the systems? In aggregating our resources together, Shira, S-H-E-R-A, is a platform I believe will take on Amazon. It will take on certainly as an e-commerce market. If we are in a consolidated ecosystem, conscious, we'll be able to buy and trade. Saris for Change is a South African concept where we're upscaling reuse saris and providing a space where entrepreneurs can enterprise in and make money from. You know, there's so many. There's a youngster who, her name is Nolly Quinter. She launched an online conversation, just a hashtag, We Talk Business. On a Tuesday evening, people around the world tune in. Why we needed to disrupt? Because we're the missing middle. We can't get heard. Those who are in the know, the journalists now themselves are all enterprising. So it's who you know that can get you onto a platform. While we're doing it as PR, communications and marketing, where we all meet on the same platform, is that we need market awareness. Technology enables market awareness. Just driving in here, I signed a contract in the United States of America, now that's the biggest economy, with another PR company. And I said to them, you're validating a platform when you are in Forbes magazine, you are in Huffington Post, why come with me? It's because they are launching, some of their clients are CEOs. There's an app called Jokita 24/7, which forms a solution both for an employee, so a doctor looking for a job, but a solution for a rural area looking for medical assistance, so they now can be able to go online and facilitate both. So the job opportunities are immense. And I think in Tanzania, the fact that they're starting to shoot immediately by EC Africa. So you asked me about the agility of the market and how we meet as an ecosystem. We launched 48 hours ago. We were knackered. We worked on this project for 14 years. The last 5 months, we barely slept. Beyonce is in town, Oprah's in town, and you wonder, like, you know, did I make an impact? And Facebook wrote to me themselves. They're like, what's happening with EC Africa? So obviously, data analysis and data analytics prove that if you consciously work in an ecosystem, and how we use technology is about breaking the code. So there's no millions of rands, it's a self-funded network. So that's another disruptor. And these, I think, are laudable interruptions in the economy, what I think South African and African, Pan-African entrepreneurs are, they tired of corruption. They will not be outside mainstream economies, and we will not validate mediocrity.
We're going to have to leave it there. Very, very interesting conversation. Very congratulations to you on your disruptive medium.
It's a collaborative.
On your collaborative disruptive medium. Managing Director of JT Communication Solutions, Vanessa Perumal, on the launch of a digital global platform called Entrepreneur Connect Africa 100.